Joining us from Fenway. He has just wrapped up with Scott Service. He joins us twice a week. It's brought to you by Chalet Bowl. It is our good friend, Ryan Divish. Hi, Ryan. How are you?
Good. What's going on?
Okay, what's the latest? What would Scott Service just tell you guys?
Nothing really. He said that France will be or not France, but Turner will be playing the bulk of the time at first base. I don't know how much is, I don't know how many days a week that is. It's probably 4 days a week, DH a couple of times. So,
Okay.
And then, other than that, we just talked about, hoping that Turner helps them a little bit, like with the just the hitting and the presence in the clubhouse, all that kind of good stuff. Talked about JT Chargois, the trade they just made for him, bringing him back. They need a guy, another right-handed reliever that can help them in that 6th to 7th inning role. I mean, I think we've seen they've ran Trent Thornton into the ground. And, he has been effective at times, but, he's just not a guy that you can put in. You like to bring in with runners on base or, 8th or 9th inning. So, basically, I think I'd have to look. I don't know if anybody else had minor league options. That's also a reason why Spire had to go back down. He also doesn't look quite right. He just hasn't had the velocity as well and this command that he normally had last year. It's basically been now like all season. So, go down to the minor leagues, work on normal time, and I think he should be fine.
Okay, so just update us on that one, because as we're in the middle of doing this, doing the show at 1:30 there with Jim Duquette. Did you say they've sent Gabe Spire down?
Yeah, he was optioned down. They brought up Jonathan Diaz because their bullpen just got work last night. It was short anyways, and then with Logan only going 2 2/3, they had to bring in Thornton for longer. I think the 42 pitches he threw were like a season high, so they just needed somebody that could pitch multiple innings. If something were to go wrong with Castillo or even Kirby in the next 2 games, you need to have somebody that can help cover multiple innings. So I think that's kind of where they're at. They sent Locklear down because he's not going to play. Obviously, Jason Bossler doesn't have minor league options, and he can play, 2 outfield spots in both corners. So Locklear is going to go back to Tacoma and play on a regular basis.
Okay, so we've got we're 45 minutes away from the deadline. Do you think they're done? Do you get the indication they're done?
Part of me thinks that they're done simply because any of the players that they may want aren't going to be traded. I don't think I don't think Yandy Diaz is going to get traded. Heard some stuff that it sounds like he probably won't. And obviously Vlad Guerrero is not getting traded. They could probably do like the whole Joe Carter and throw in one last effort at trying to wow the Rays. But in talking with some people I know, they didn't think the Rays were that inclined to trade Yandy Diaz, that they listened to offers because, they're the Rays and that's what you do when you're in their position. You always listen to offers, but they didn't think that maybe they really wanted to trade him that badly. If you look at it, what his money made and everything else, the Rays are getting all that starting pitching that had all the arm issues and the Tommy John guys back for next year. So they're still going to have a pretty good team next year. So I think that I don't see very much happening. Again, we never know because what was it, a few years ago, they traded Mike Leake with 1 minute before the deadline. And remember, you can also, deals can come out after the deadline. They just have to have the paperwork into the Major League office before 6 p.m. So deals can come out. Because Luke Raley was talking about that. When he was with the Dodgers, he was traded to the Twins along with another guy for Brian Dozier. Remember him? And he didn't find out till 45 minutes after the deadline. He thought he had gotten through. He was all happy. And then he was walking to the park to take BP in the minor leagues. And they're like, hey, man, you've been traded. See ya. Go pack up your stuff. So.
Okay, give me a thought from your perspective on the addition of Justin Turner. Thoughts on that one? Just how much better does that make them on and off the field?
Well, I think it definitely makes him better off the field. He's got kind of that, the whole veteran presence that everybody loves to get excited about. But he has been around. He's a very, you can't, there's nothing quantifiable to measure about it. But when you're around there, like this is a guy that kind of can fill maybe that role of when things get hard or whatever. He's a very lighthearted. He's on the field. He's very intense, but he's also very lighthearted. Like he's one of the better dudes around baseball, and I think he has that kind of mentality. He's been there. He's been through a lot of this, so he can kind of be a voice of reason when maybe things are going wrong and everybody wants to panic. So I think that helps him on the field. I mean, he's right-handed bat. I don't know that he's got pop, but he will get on base. And that's what they need to get a guy. I mean, like, if you're not going to, they just don't have enough guys that have on base percentages over 375 or even over 350. Get on base more. I mean, like, yeah, they strike out or whatever, but they got to have guys that get on base more. So I think that helps them in that regard. I don't know. I mean, like, he's a right-hand bat with some pop. He's played before. I think he helps them because, like, you were going to be running a rookie out there who's striking out at over 40% of the time. So I think, putting Turner there, even if he isn't as good defensively, and they haven't, Locklear's not great defensively either, and neither is France. And it's, you feel like it should be still an upgrade just on the quality of the bats. And like I said, he'll probably play, I would say 4 times a week out there, maybe DH some, and I mean, that's the thing. The Mariners have a lot of DHs on this team. If you think about it, position-wise, like Haniger and Garver are kind of DHs, but you're going to have to play them, and Turner's kind of a DH. Well, I mean, Jack Z would love this team, all the DHs.
This is Jack Z's wet dream.
Yeah, they have to be like former Brewers though, and just like huge slug guys though that really can't play. Like, I mean, Mitch and Turner and even Garver were all viable defensive players at one point. It's not like you're bringing in Mike Morris or whatever, So I don't know. I mean, like, I think they're done. Like I said, only not because they want to be done. I just think that what's left on the market, there isn't much there. But they really. They got Randy from the Rays. I'm sure they inquired about everyone, the Low and Lau and Yandy, but it doesn't seem like the Rays are going to move everybody. They're not going to dump everybody. Pete Fairbanks would have helped them a little bit. But,
Pete Fairbanks would have been the best one ever because of his post-game stuff, his interviews.
Yeah,
He's a good reliever, but he's awesome.
Because of that outing sucked in every respect and every regard or whatever it was. It wasn't just a partial suck; it was complete, or whatever he said.
Yeah, he's great. He's a kid.
No, so I don't know. I mean, like what we've seen, and none of the gigantic bats got traded. I mean, Rosarena will probably be the biggest bat traded at the deadline, won't he? I mean, name a
I'm
bigger
trying to
hitter.
think of. Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to think of a bat that would trump him. I don't really think that there is.
No, I don't either. And so it's like, I don't know what the hell the White Sox are doing, but but yeah, I mean, like, it doesn't seem like there's anything else. And really, if you look, none of the, I think there's 2 top 100 prospects that have been traded, but it's a lot of kind of mid-level prospects. So what the Astros gave up for Yusei Kikuchi was pretty stunning. Even players in the Mariners clubhouse were talking about that. Like, oh my God, they gave up 2 big league players for 2 months of Yusei Kikuchi and a decent prospect.
Let me ask you a hypothetical on that one. Brad Adam and I were talking earlier. The handsome Brad Adam.
Yes.
When you saw that, do you think the Mariners looked at that and went like, oh, my God, if that's what Kikuchi is going to fetch? I'm just saying in a hypothetical, what could we get for someone like Luis Castillo?
I mean, they may address that this offseason. You never know. I mean, they could, because, the thing is, the pitching trades in season happen usually due to injuries and need. They seem to be higher because there'll be a huge, a team will suffer through big injuries and they need a premium arm to get through it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, hell, what would Brian Wu or Bryson Miller fetch in return where there is no money involved?
Yeah.
But the Astros don't have a lot of great prospects anyways. Their farm system's really been they've kind of robbed from it. So, you know, they used to say that about a Mariners prospects, like back before they made this run in the rebuild, they'd be like, yeah, the top 3 prospects in the Mariners systems are 27, 28, and 29 in somebody else's system. So,
Are you? How's your arm going to do? Are you holding up the phone or the iPad? Are you holding like you're going to tire out a little bit?
no, I have it resting on my knee with the swollen ankle, and then I've got pure strength as well. I mean, like I wouldn't say Simone Biles level hand strength, but I think I'm up there.
So, can we get an update on the quickly, listener and viewer? If you haven't been joining us, Ryan got stung by a stingray. How's the ankle?
So, it wasn't progressing back the way we thought it should. And I developed something like they call cellulitis, where it just swelled up and looked terrible. So I had to go on an antibiotic in case there was an infection in there.
Oh.
So I went on a pretty strong antibiotic. Let me tell you, trying to get an antibiotic, like when your physician or your medical care provider gets you the prescription and you try to get it that day in Tacoma, I mean, like, 14 trades happen easier than that. And so I spent most of my day trying to get that. But yeah, so and then you get on a plane for 5.5 hours, and the pressure in there doesn't do a lot of good for it either. But it's looking a little bit less gross than it did before. But I had a pretty good sized cankle for a while that was all purple and red. So,
all right. So let's recap the flurry of moves today that they made. Spire down, Locklear down. They had to activate Turner Chargois that they traded. What am I missing?
They called up Jonathan Diaz as a long reliever.
Okay.
And then they traded for Chargois, who'll be here tomorrow, I think. And I don't know where Miami was, or what's left of Miami anyways. Traded for Chargois, and they sent a guy named Will Schonberg to the Marlins for Chargois, who is just an undrafted free agent that they got after he got out of Davidson. So pretty crazy. I mean, JT Chargois was part. So I was talking with Haniger about this because we were wondering who on the team actually played with Chargois in 2021. And it was Haniger. Cal was there, just gotten called up. Dylan Moore.
Yeah.
And I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it, right? Yeah, it's going to be it. So the final, if they remain, if this is it, and we got 35 minutes until the deadline. If it remains this way, and you've kind of said that you feel that this is it for them, Arozarena, Garcia, Turner, Chargois in, Stanek, Clase, and a bunch of 6 minor leaguers, I think it is, and Ty France out. Where does that put them in your opinion? How much better are they today than they were a week and a half ago?
Well, I mean, you feel like from a production standpoint, you've upgraded at left field and first base. I mean, like even if the raw numbers of Turner, they're not like overwhelming, but like you feel like you still have a productive player at first base. And then you added 2 arms to the bullpen that you feel like are better than, what you've been rolling out there. I mean, like they've just been cycling those right-handed relievers in and out of Tacoma. Colin Snyder and Cody Bolton, or Cody Snyder and Colin Bolton. I don't know, and Thornton. I mean, they ran that group of middle relievers so hard. So you brought in new arms and arms that are pitching well at the time. So I think that helps them. So I do I think they're a better team after this trade deadline? Yeah. And they didn't get maybe the bats they wanted, but I don't know how much those bats were available from what it sounds like, because nobody got these guys. It'd be different like if Yandy Diaz, he could still get traded. I mean, like somebody could wow the Marlins or the Rays at the last minute and they decide to, but like Luis Roberts still with the White Sox, and boy, he's done nothing to increase his trade value of late. I mean, he's looked like a dog. And then, Vlad's going to stay. I mean, like, I don't know what the hell the Rockies are doing. What the hell are the Angels doing? They're not going to trade Tyler Anderson and Luis Rengifo and Taylor Ward.
Some of these
You know,
teams, I don't get.
what are the A's doing? They're keeping Brent Rooker. I mean, he's gonna put him on the sign at the MGM when you build your new stadium. Brent Rooker, come see Brent Rooker. Come on. I mean, like that's the thing is like some of the bats that should have been available just don't seem to be, and I think that's a problem. You know, like they aren't. You know, teams are just those. Part of it is I think it's hard to find productive hitters anymore. So yeah, I think you're just not seeing like the premium bats. Years ago when JD Martinez got traded or some of those guys, we're just not seeing that. It's mostly guys in their walk years or maybe 1.5, but it's more mid-level guys to fill out rosters. And I don't know if that's, a product of teams being smarter with their prospects or being smarter with the bats they have. But, to me, the Rockies, they didn't make a trade, did they? They made a trade. I think they traded one reliever away.
If they did, I don't recall them making a deal.
The Rockies didn't make a trade. The A's traded away a reliever and then Paul Blackburn.
Well, yeah.
And then the Marlins have dealt everybody. But what have the White Sox done? Have they traded Fetty yet?
Yeah. Fetty went to the God. Don't hold me to it. I want to say the Cardinals.
Yeah, right? I think that's right. Yeah.
He was part of that three-team deal.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's really weird. It's not weird. I think part of it is like teams just don't want to part with productive hitters that, they have the potential because I think it's so hard to hit. And like some teams are not willing to give up their prospects the way they used to as well either. Yeah. I don't think that's really the Mariners thing. I think they're willing to give up the prospects for the right guy, but sure. I think there's also a tipping point where you just say, yeah, we're not. It's one thing to give up a lot to get a guy, but it's another thing to be just reckless and stupid.
What do you have an idea at all, and if you don't, just lie and speculate? An offer for Guerrero?
What they would have had to have given?
Yeah.
Well, it included Harry Ford and one of the infield prospects. Whether it's Colt Emerson or Cole Young, and then probably Hancock and at least 2 more guys, because that was kind of the rumor is that the White Sox and the Blue Jays all wanted kind of like Juan Soto level returns for what they got. And I mean, the Padres gave up Mackenzie Gore and CJ Abrams, 2 of the top 100. They were 2 top 100 prospects, along with James Wood, that's 3 top 100s. So minimum, the Mariners had to give up 3 top 100 prospects, and the Blue Jays would want them to be like near MLB ready. And that may have hurt them. Like, if you're trying to make a deal where the Blue Jays can't say no, is that you need guys that are like right there and ready to go,
Yeah.
And Harry Ford isn't that. Cole Young isn't that. Colt Emerson isn't that. So I'm sure it was I'm sure the Mariners offered at least 2 pretty good guys and tried to piece together the other 3. But, I think the Blue Jays, if they're going to do it, would want, you're trading away a guy that you thought was going to be the future of your franchise. You have to be able to sell the return that you get and sell it on the idea that you're going to be good quickly. So, I think the ask would have been enormous. Like the better fit was Robert, who I don't think they liked as much. He didn't fit as well. I don't think they liked the contract. I don't think they liked the inconsistency. You love the upside, but like Robert, you can sell the White Sox on. You're not going to be good for 3 or 4 years. So here's some guys that are more low A, more projectable than guys that are big league ready right now. And that's what I don't get. Like, why keep Crochet if you're not going to be good for 3 or 4 years? I mean, his value will probably never be higher than it is right now, will it?
No, I mean, but how much of what he said in the last 24 hours and his representatives said, putting it out there that they wanted an extension, all that stuff, hurt their possibilities of moving him?
Oh, I'm sure it hurt it a lot. But again, like, that can all change. Again, this is the first season this guy's started games. I don't think they're really in a position to make demands about extensions and innings and all that other stuff. Are they?
Well, he should. I mean, here's the thing with him. I kind of see both. I talked to Duquette about this. I see both sides of it. I see him wanting to kind of protect himself a little bit where he's at, but then I also see the other side of, man, you are in a real crap situation right now. Why wouldn't you want to get out of that and go play for a contender and play in the postseason and help somebody out?
I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, it's a bad team, bad organization. You know, good city, I guess, but like, yeah, nothing else about it is like nothing great, you know.
As we're less than a half an hour away from it getting done, there still is time for them to make a move. Guerrero is going to be probably out. Maybe Yandy Diaz is available. Hey, our guy we've talked about a lot, late night Lamont, still around.
It doesn't sound like the Giants either. I mean, like they dumped all the pieces.
Sense, though.
I know. Well, they dumped the pieces that were expiring or that are cost more money, like Cobb and you know, they tried to, and then Soler was just kind of a non-fit. But like, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if you like, I guess it's like, you know, like, if you're gonna do one thing, why not go all the way with it, you know, and kind of move Lamont Wade and move, you know, Matt Chapman or whatever, instead of just like, okay, you know, that's a very kind of a wishy-washy stance. Like, okay, we're not really going for it, but we're not really we're not really rebuilding, or we're not really trying to get better for years ahead. I mean, it's a very Mariners thing if you think about it, just trying to piece it together. You know, like all the mid 2000s and stuff and even the, you know, after 2002 or whatever, where they're trying to make these trades to just be slightly better so they could be competitive, but never enough to like, hey, we're going to go for it. And then never enough where they say, you know what, screw it, we're just going to rebuild from here because all these guys are ancient and we're rapidly deteriorating.
Yeah. Do you think how Luis Robert played when the Mariners faced them, and you kind of mentioned it, he really gave off this I don't really give a you know what vibe. I don't know. Do you think that may have swayed them at all, like how aggressive they wanted to be with that?
I think probably some, but I think the ask too, like if you don't love the player and you don't love his attitude, and you're going to give up 4 or 5 of your better prospects, I mean, that's a big risk. Not to mention he's owed money. He's owed real money. This isn't like just, you know, a flyer on a guy, you know. So I don't know. I mean, like, I don't. At the end of the day, if you're really good and you know, you really, I just don't know that he's been productive enough where you look past the weird body language and the history of not posting and stuff like that to go from there.
Have they I think I've asked you this again. I want to repeat it though. I mean, have they done enough? I mean, is this enough to make them truly a World Series contender? I mean, we know what their pitching staff is. Their pitching staff is no doubt World Series caliber. Offensively, what they've added, is it enough to push them over, win the division, and seriously challenge to get to the World Series?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, like, it's still contingent on what Julio and JP do when they come back and when they come back.
Yeah.
You know, now like, so you when you get Julio and JP back, then you're putting out a different lineup completely.
Yeah.
You know, then you're running in a row. You're running a Rosarena in some order. Julio, you know, JP, Julio, Rosarena, Turner, Cal, Polanco. I mean, like, that's more commensurate with what you're seeing, what you expect of a postseason team.
Yeah.
You know, and then if, God forbid, any of these other guys start to get going again, then, you know, then it looks a little bit better. I mean, you kind of said.
Uh-oh. We have lost Ryan Divish here for a second. Oh, you're back on.
Sorry.
We lost you for a second.
Call.
No, you're okay. Tell those people to stop calling you. No one wants to hear from you. Divish doesn't want to hear from you.
It's the stepson.
Well, the stepson.
Tyson, so
hey, you tell Tyson to pound sand, all right?
Yeah. So anyways, no, I mean, like, what are they, 3.85 runs per game or whatever? You need
Yeah.
them to be about 4.5. Does this make them 3/4 of a run better? Not immediately, but like when they get the rest of the group back, you think that they
Yeah.
can average somewhere between 4.2 to 4.3 runs per game when they get Julio back, and when they get JP back, and if somebody else just does a few things, I think that's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not asking again. Like you're not asking them to produce 6 runs a game. You're asking them to produce 4. Is that impossible with this group? I don't think so. I think we've seen that like when it kind of works a little bit better, not even ideal, but like just somewhat. If these players stay somewhat up to their level, it works out pretty good. But like when you have that many players playing below their level, that's a problem.
What is it? I want you to make a lineup for me with those guys coming back, with Julio and with JP in the lineup. The lineup now for the Mariners looks like what? Who hits leadoff for you?
They'll probably just let JP go back there, just because they think he's competitive in the way he sets the tone. I mean, you don't know how much he'll use Robles. If like you can use him a little more cautiously because he could get exposed the same way Rojas did and the same way Dylan Moore did and stuff like that.
Okay.
JP, and then like you don't like Julio too, right?
No, he's fine. I mean, I
you
hit him anywhere.
You put Rosarena at 2, Julio at 3.
Okay.
Cal at 4, Turner at 5. I mean,
okay.
And then I don't know who else is on the team. Polanco at 6. Maybe
Okay.
move Polanco up 2 based on the matchups and stuff. I don't know. You probably got
We're
Rojas
7, 8, 9.
Rojas or Rayleigh 7.
Okay.
And then I don't even know what positions I'm at. We got left. We got
we need DH.
Yeah, your combination of Garver, Haniger at 8, and then Rojas at 9. And you could move Garver, Haniger up based on matchups as well. I mean, that's not a terrible lineup.
No.
Like I said, people are going to be pissed. For everything I'm hearing, it just wasn't like there was a lot available. Because I don't think they were afraid to pull the trigger on trading some prospects away, knowing what they have now and knowing that they need to. I don't think they were afraid at all about that. I just don't think that it was there for them.
Who's going to be pissed? You think fans are going to be pissed?
Oh, yeah. Well, they're pissed all the time. But, yeah, I think fans will be pissed. I mean, they're always pissed. But, like, I mean, the thing is what they can be more pissed about is like, this rotation had the potential to be great. You knew it had potential to be special. And because your ownership nickel and dimed them, you had to make all these moves where you're, they're, again, like we use different metaphors like Jim Moore at the bar at 2 a.m. shopping from the crowd, or, like it's like me and you, though, too. It's just like it's me and you on a Saturday at college football. All of a sudden you look, you're $200 down. You're going to run it with Hawaii, with somebody playing at Hawaii, because
what's
that's
the line on Air Force? Yeah.
Yeah. You put yourself in that position, and that's kind of what the Mariners did. Like, the ownership put them in a position where they had to make lateral moves to adjust their roster. And what they did is take a chance on a lot of older players, where you're looking for bounce back or hope that they can play to their baseball cards despite their age or recent performance and saying, no, it's not going to happen. And then like somebody like Garver isn't an outlier performance that he provided last year because it was a smaller sample size. So, like they didn't, when you go and get guys that are proven producers at age 28 to 29 to 30, those aren't gambles per se.
Right.
That's not running a 3-team parlay, with Gardner Minshew's, completions, a catch rate from Tyler Lockett, and God knows who's playing the Raiders, just hoping to, pull out one, like we call it Joe Cartering, trying to Joe Carter at the very end to salvage your betting day. You're taking risks on unsure bets. And while players aren't sure bets because of the human factor, you go out and get a player more in their prime or more in a high production level consistently, then you're going to get production more often than not.
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. I think people are excited about what they've done, and I do think people, you need to take a step back and go, yeah, I mean, they've acquired guys that are older, that are not having their best years. Now, when you compare them to what the Mariners are at offensively, you say, well, okay, well, they actually are quite good with what this Mariners offense is. I mean, I think Turner would have the second highest OPS on the team, or does.
Yeah.
I think currently.
Again, like that's another thing is you have to the whole floor. So what's your floor at right now?
Hey, time out. Tell the adult that's there trying to get autographs to pound sand and tell him, is that a kid? No, it's a kid. Is that a kid or an adult? Okay, that's good. Okay, fine.
No, there's about 7 adults, folks here.
Are you in the section where you're trying to get autographs right now?
Oh, I'm right by the dugout, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
why do adults feel like they need to get autographs? Do we understand that phenomenon? Why does a 45-year-old have to get an autograph and then push kids out of the way? I don't get it. Never have.
I guess it's better than collecting human heads in their freezer. Or what else they might be doing.
Do we think they're the same person? Someone who would collect heads would be the same as getting autographs. I think you're right.
Well, I don't know if they drove a windowless passenger van here, but I mean.
Well, listen, if you hear one of these guys lean over to one of these players and go, "Hey, would you mind helping me with this couch?"
Yeah. Oh my God.
Is that great big fat player? Yeah. If you hear that, then I run.
Oh yeah, it's getting kind of loud in here though.
Oh, you're good. Hey, you only got a few more minutes, and we'll cut you loose. All right, we'll cut you loose.
Yeah.
I know you've been gracious with your time. You're earning all your money. Yeah, I just saw Shannon Dreyer in the background. Shout out to Shannon Dreyer. Yeah.
Oh, she's got to go talk to somebody else. I don't know who.
She doesn't want to talk. She doesn't want to talk with you.
Yeah.
Well, I guess here's the thing: is I think you can get excited. I think you can have both opinions. I think you can get excited what they've done because they've improved the team. But I also think you can then be critical of what they didn't do in the offseason because it allowed them to do this, and they really didn't add. I mean, they could have done a better job of adding in the offseason.
Your boy Chris DeWitt came over because he's watching the podcast live, and they came over. He's like, "Are you live?"
Yeah.
So he's over there. He's got his headphones in and waving at him now, and he's all happy.
For those who don't know Chris DeWitt, he basically runs the Mariners clubhouse.
Good dude.
Great dude. He's unbelievable.
Good dude. For being a Husky diehard, he's a good dude.
Yeah, it's a little annoying how over the top he is with his Husky fandom, but you know what? We go ahead and we let him have it. All right, we let him have it.
I mean, he tolerates softies, so I guess you have to. But no, so I don't know. I mean, you can sit there and second guess all the moves they've made in the off season and all the reasoning behind it, because I think we both talked about the idea that they didn't have to be that fiscally conservative, regardless of what their metrics and their projections say for youth sports. This is that business side shouldn't always seep that much into the game side, and really they are drawing more than I think we expected. They're drawing well. Even that Angel series, which is a crap sandwich on a lot of levels, and they played like ass, they still had 25,000 people. In past years that's 17 or 14 or 15. And they were drawing early in the year when they shouldn't be. Now I'll be interested to see once September rolls around, but if they're in it, they're going to draw. I mean, think about how many times I'm trying to think how many times I've written that they've been over 30,000 this year. It's a lot,
I mean, early on, you just noted early on in the season when they're not supposed to draw those crowds because of the weather and school's in and all that stuff, but they have consistently. That you're right. Hey, we do it. Just a couple more trades have gone down. The White Sox have traded. They made a trade, but it's not for Luis Robert. It's not Crochet. The Orioles are finalizing a deal for Eloy Jimenez from the Chicago White Sox. So, Jimenez.
Another talented player who doesn't play a lot. He's hurt right now. Like when he was in that series with the Mariners, he couldn't really even run to first base.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, The Orioles did trade away Austin Hayes, who was a nice player, an outfielder, because he wasn't playing much. Like Jimenez is just kind of a bat off the bench, probably DH him. But
Yeah.
he's hurt all the time too.
Yep.
So and I don't know
And
what his money's pretty workable because the Orioles aren't spending a bunch of money. I mean, I know
no.
that they added Zach Eflin, but I mean, they don't have a ton of money to work with. They just have a lot of really good prospects.
And
if you're
Mark
the Tigers, why wouldn't you trade Tarek Skubal and get Jackson Holiday and somebody else? Get a star. I mean, I know Skubal's great, but he's a pitcher, and their everyday player other than Riley Green suck. Like, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, is it a doubt of how good they think maybe Holiday could be?
I don't know. I mean, take your pick of the rest of them. You know what I mean? They got a ton of good prospects. So,
well, okay. How about this? The Tigers sit 5 games under 500. Do they look at themselves and go, maybe we reinvest this in the offseason, we build around Skubal, and then we have a shot next year? I don't know. Maybe.
No, I don't see it. I mean, that's a lot of Little Caesars pizza for Mike Ilitch to sell.
Hey, Little Caesars is not a bad pizza.
Yeah, but it's not. It's not exactly
great.
Breaking. No, I mean it's $5 pizza. That's what you get. I mean, it's great for little kids after a little league game.
I think Little Caesars is a fine pizza. I don't know. I mean, you
find
find me another place.
I think your players probably would demand like Pagliacci or gourmet wood fire pizza, but I know living in the Ballard area, that's how you guys roll. But
yeah, so
yeah. Well, this isn't Ethan Stoll's Ballard pizza. I can't eat it. Does it have truffle oil on it? That's what you guys would be like. They have truffle oil on this?
And you wonder why we lose.
Yeah, I know.
I was going to say about I lost my train of thought there with Skubal, but whatever. It's
Big
funny.
Maple. I'm walking around.
Yeah.
Pitching tonight, the Big Maple.
Are you a little surprised they just gave up on him, the Dodgers?
Well, he just ran into roster problems. And he was only going like 5 innings to start and throwing a ton of pitches, but he was still competitive.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers, I mean, they can do whatever they want. It always seems to work out for them.
George!
People that follow up. Oh.
George!
Who's trying to get George's attention? I was going to tell you that Mark Feinsand from MLB Network is saying that Yandy Diaz is not going to be traded. That it doesn't appear they'll be traded.
No, I have some sources that kind of told me that he wasn't going to be traded. They just, if you think about it, the Rays probably believe they can still be competitive next year, because they have some really good prospects that just haven't come up. And they have all those, everybody loves Scott here, wants his autograph. Not on Twitter, though.
People want Scott Service's autograph?
Yeah. Well, the men do.
Hey, I'm going to ask you something about Scott Service. I thought Scott Service yesterday, you played the position, so you tell me. I mean, it's a blowout. Why catch Cal Raleigh? Just take him out of the game.
Because the other catcher gets hurt a lot, and so if he gets hurt, then you have to have Dylan Moore catch.
Is he your? I was going to ask you. Is he your emergency guy, Dylan Moore?
Yeah, because Todd, I would think so, but I don't know. He says he could do it, but I don't know. He can't really do Dylan Moore as the emergency. He's the starting shortstop.
Well, isn't there somebody that could? I mean, come on. I mean, they're down by 11. They avoided a scare with him early in the game when he took, was it a foul ball off his hand?
Yeah.
I mean, and then he gets hit later in the game when they're down by I think 10 or 11. Like, it just, I don't know. They really are running him into the ground.
They're playing with fire.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That's just where they're at. I would think when Julio gets back, you might see that third catcher come up again.
Okay.
But
within the organization?
Yeah, I guess. They have that couple guys in Tacoma. I mean, again, they're backup. Would they – I can't remember now. Does rosters expand in September to 28 or 27? 28?
Why are you asking me? You're the one who
I
covers
don't know.
the team.
I mean, drinking has killed a lot of my short-term memory. I'm on drinking and out. I mean, a lot of Crown, Adderall. the amount of substances that have gone into my system that are unhealthy for me, man, like I'm pretty much held together by ibuprofen and Crown Royal.
Well, and we've got to get you a Crown Royal sponsorship, in addition to, of course, the great Chalet Bowl. I think it'd be good for you.
Yeah.
It really would be. I don't know. I mean, I think that they've got to address it at some point because, I mean, they are just – I mean, we love Cal Raleigh. You know, we talk a lot about him on our episodes a lot, just how important he is to the team. And listen, if they went to him and said, hey, do you want to leave the game yesterday? I know Cal Raleigh's going to say, no, I'll stay on the game. But, I mean, he is playing every single day.
Yeah. I mean, part of it, you know, like you're not coming back in that game. That's the thing, too. But you also like that he's kind of hitting, so you want him out there. You know what I mean? So,
I get it. All right, well, we got about 8 minutes to go until the deadline. We don't think anything is going to happen, so we can wrap it up here with you. The guy, there's a lot of.
What's going to happen is they're gonna make a move right when we hang up.
Yeah, right? You know what? Then we're not going to hang up. Screw it. You got 8 more. You got 8 more minutes. No, you got to stay. You got to stay because they move, but they're going to make a move, and you know what's going to happen. There are a lot of Mariner fans there. At least where you're sitting.
Yeah,
what the hell?
Too. So like yesterday, I'm walking through and there's a guy wearing a Montana State coat. So go Grizz at him and I start making fun of him. I meet him. And he was actually roommates in college with some of my buddies from Harvard.
Come on.
No, seriously, it's crazy.
There's a ton there. There's a ton of fans there. It's great. Good for.
How you doing, man?
Mariner fans. Well,
no breaking news. Sorry.
Look at you. You're like a celebrity. People love you.
Nothing pisses Daniel Kramer off more when somebody recognizes. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, good. Look at you. You're a man of the people. You could run for office right now.
But everybody thinks I'm mean, you know, and like curmudgeon me.
Well, you are mean.
I know. Munoz told me that I look crabby and need to relax and be happy more. Twice now. He like legitimately got angry at me, saying I'm too stressed out.
Well, it's okay. This is a walk and talk interview with you.
We're doing a walkthrough of the bowels of Fenway. Also, that movie, The Town, there's no freaking way they could have pulled off that robbery. This place is like so narrow. No way. I love that. That's one of the more underrated movies, by the way.
Well, but it's a great movie for one person.
For who?
Isn't Blake Lively in that one?
Yeah. No. Yes. Oh, yes. Yes, she is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
That's why you like the movie.
Yeah. Well, no, it's just a good movie, but like, so, yeah.
Sausage and peppers? Is that where we're going to go ahead? Get some sausage and peppers?
Yeah, but I go to the one outside.
Yeah.
There's a sausage and peppers place outside of here. But honestly, like, for people that are baseball fans, they should come to a game here just because the vibe outside the stadium as well, just the energy around. It's like an event. I mean, they shut down the whole street around, like, because unlike many places, Seattle, where they try
I knew this was
charge you for stuff in their own corporate-owned stuff. This is did I lose you?
For a second, but I think you're making everybody nauseous by moving around so much.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Well, I'll stand here for a second.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like outside of here, like there's bars and restaurants and they shut down the street and people just hang out. But it's not like I'm looking at, so it's about, and this is East Coast prices. So it's $11 for a Coors Light. That's not horrible.
I'll take it.
I mean, you know, it's airport beer costs, hotel beer costs.
You know what? My favorite beer stand it's not a secret anymore where it's at. Behind home plate by the Hall of Fame section at T-Mobile.
Yeah, I know.
They've got now, you know what they've added back there? Because I like the 12-ounce cans. I don't like the big cans. They're too much.
No, because you don't drink fast enough.
Right.
You get warm.
Yeah, exactly. They've got Victoria.
Oh.
Solid beer. That's a solid Mexican lager. Is that Victoria?
Yeah. So I would. Without like shotgunning it or like the whole, I could probably drink a Miller Lite, a 12-ounce Miller Lite can faster than most average human beings. It's like 2 drinks. I learned it from my dad.
There you go.
And on the golf course, I mean, especially. That's why I kind of like the Bale Breaker pills on the golf course because I don't drink it quite as fast.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good golf drinking beer.
You can. Ken Rosenthal has just reported the Dodgers are in discussions to acquire Jack Flaherty from the Tigers. So, going to wait and see on that one.
He's a interesting cat. He's a tough kind of teammate, from what everybody says.
Oh, really?
In terms of personality, yeah.
Oh.
He's kind of a shit talker, and he'll talk to the other teams and hit guys, so. That's what people had talked about. But.
Hey, last thing before we let you go. There's about 3 minutes left of the deadline. Take us in. They said it afterwards, especially on Friday. I don't think you weren't there yet. Jude was covering the team, but the overall vibe around the baseball team since they've made all these moves. What has it been? How much has this infused them with excitement and looking forward to, the final, 45, 50 plus games of the year?
Oh yeah, I mean, like you feel it. Even like Mitch Haniger said to me, "Hey, I like the moves you made. I mean, like we've gotten better." I mean, Mitch Haniger says that, and that comes at the cost of playing time for him. Because he wants his team to win. So yeah, no, it's kind of the game recognizes the game. Like they know Rosarina, they know Turner, they know Garcia. They believe they've gotten better, And like you look around, and I mean, the one thing they do trust is proven players over kind of rookies or prospects. Yeah. And so that's kind of the thing. Like I do think they believe they've gotten better, and they know that Julio isn't far off, hopefully, and that kind of thing. So we're going to talk with DePoto in about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Via Zoom, which I'm surprised they're putting DePoto on, honestly, just because fans' reaction to him is also.
Hollander's much better for this. They should learn their lesson, but.
Well, yeah, because it's just like I like listening to Jerry because ultimately he's the final decision maker.
Sure.
But like, given what happened, anytime we put him out there, people just have a adverse reaction to anything he says.
Well, I thought they had a good. If they don't do anything more, I thought they had a good 2024 MLB trade deadline. Hey, last thing for you. What happened with you and Passon on Twitter? What's going on?
Oh no! So like so I was listening to the Evil Empire radio show, and they said that they made a reference that they get their news from John Heyman and not Passon. I'm like, if there are many things, I'll take those are fighting words right there. You can't be using Heyman. If people want to sit there and say that Daniel Kramer is a better beat writer than me, I'll allow it. Jude is better looking than me, I'll allow it. But you say that. There are other writers that you bring up the wrong name, I'll probably fight you. It's like, like something about Mary when they touch Warren's ear and he just starts swinging. You bring up the wrong name, I'll just start swinging.
Yeah, we're not going to bring up that wrong name. All right.
There's several. There's multiple.
I know. Jack Flaherty, speaking of passing your guy, Jack Flaherty has indeed been dealt to the Dodgers. So, all right. Go talk to Jerry DePoto. I appreciate it more than you'll ever know. You spent an hour in the stands at Fenway, now walking through the bowels of the stadium, all for just because you're a good guy. See, that you're changing your reputation. You're a good guy, and everybody knows it.
I know. I try.
All right, buddy.
For now.
I'll talk to you soon.
See you,
Thanks,
man.
Divish.